I'm Shelby Williams, formerly with Plano City Council, still candidate for Collin County Commissioners Court Precinct 4. Tonight was my last official act on Plano City Council, as it was for Anthony Riccadelli, Casey Prince, and Rick Smith. We all voted to canvass the votes from this last election, and then we rolled off and we were replaced by Bob Kerr, Chris Downs, Steve Levine, and Vidal Quintanilla. So congratulations to all of you who have taken our place on council. And even though I'm no longer on council, I promised to continue doing these council recaps until I was elected as county commissioner, and I'm a man of my word. So we'll get right to it. And you may wonder why I'm not in uniform. I'm wearing just my shirt with my sleeves rolled up. I'll get to that. So first, in the preliminary open meeting, the new council reappointed former mayor, Plano Mayor Phil Dyer, to the North Texas Municipal Water District Board. Congratulations, Mayor Dyer. Now, we had an update. I say we, they, the council. I was sitting as a spectator and heckling them throughout the meeting. Not really heckling, but we'll get to that too. The council had an update on the general and technology compensation update reports, but you know what? I was in the audience and it was presented to everybody in attendance, so I can say we. We were given an update on technology, general and technology compensation updates. So there are 600 plus jobs within the city that fall under the general and technology area. So our target is for compensation, monetary compensation, is median plus 5%. Median across comparable cities in the North Texas area. Median plus 5%. And not just North Texas, a couple of other select cities. Now, the challenge with this, as Councilman Horn pointed out during the meeting, is that a lot of cities benchmark on us. So when we set the bar at median plus 5, then they benchmark on that and they do Plano plus 5. And so we're kind of in a constant rat race to keep ahead. And we've been wrestling with this for a few years now as we did our compensation philosophy study. And I think ultimately we need to pick some different measurements where we're not in a benchmarking game with other cities of our size. So we gathered resumes, and education and experience were evaluated for employees across the spectrum here. And we had set aside, and I say we when I was on council, we set aside $4.2 million last fall during the budget, the new 24-25 budget, fiscal year 24-25, to make such pay adjustments as these compensation studies came to fruition. And we determined that we would have to make some pay gaps, or not make pay gaps, I'm sorry, make payments, adjust compensation to bring certain employees into alignment with the compensation philosophy. And so we had set aside some money for that. So some of that will be used here. Then we had several proclamations while I went to jumpstart my daughter's car in the parking lot. My family came to see me off, and unfortunately my daughter's car wouldn't start. So while we issued proclamations today, and there were several, and I think one of these was National Bike to Work Week, which I wouldn't have had to jumpstart my daughter's car. She had rode her bike to the council meeting. But daddy duty never dies, unlike batteries. And so while we were delivering proclamations in council, I was outside jump-starting my daughter's car. Jump-started just fine. All's well that ends well. Now, the cultural arts plan was adopted. And Councilman Horn again pointed out that we need a new pathway to showcase both visual and performing arts. Now, we had discussed this previously. This was a consent agenda item. It was pulled off of consent agenda just so Councilman Horn could speak to it, which I felt was deserving. So it's a roadmap. It's a 10-year cultural arts roadmap for the city. And two of the things on the roadmap, one is having a cultural arts director. Another is the establishment of a 500 to 800 seat venue downtown. What form that takes, how it's done, public-private partnership, etc., that remains to be seen, but that's on the roadmap. The cultural arts plan is kind of like the city's comprehensive plan, except instead of developing buildings and housing and real estate, it's developing our cultural arts. Then we moved on to a $16 million, yes, million with an M, expense for building a whole lot of sewer along the North Dallas trunk sewage system. There are improvements being made to that. The only reason that was not a consent agenda item is because it had such a large price tag. Items 2 and 3 both involved taking of parkland. So under Texas state law, if you want to parkland, then that can be done under certain circumstances. One of the requirements is that there can be no feasible alternative to the use or the taking. So you can't just willy-nilly say, we want this parkland and we're going to undedesignate it as parkland. Second, we have to take all reasonable measures to protect the parkland. So little strips of parkland was taken for easement. So the first portion was a part of Hoplitzel Park. So it was to abandon our existing easement and then take some parkland for a very similar easement. So the reason for this is that the sewer line that ran underneath for the Russell Creek Interceptor Pipeline rehabilitation project, that's rehabilitating the Russell Creek Interceptor Pipeline, sewage pipeline. The easement that the city thought we had was not exactly parallel to the actual sewer line. So we're abandoning that old easement, and we took the easement for the actual area that the sewer runs. So we're also widening it to 30 feet wide, and no trees will be disturbed or removed. That was pointed out during this presentation. No trees will be disturbed or removed, and disturbed park ground will be restored to pre-restoration condition. So theoretically, that should prevent hauntings. So we'll all hope for that. The second taking was a portion of the Legacy Greenbelt Trail. Now that was to replace an existing deteriorating manhole at the North Texas Municipal Water District's existing wastewater interceptor. So the manhole is going to be an estimated $200,000 to replace, and that's not just like the iron cover that you see on the streets. That's the actual hole, and that's going to be replaced with a 5-foot diameter fiberglass reinforced plastic manhole, which is we're given to understand the standard nowadays. And that will require moving 3 trees that are 8 inches or larger. And that was it. That was the new council meeting for 4 new council members. We just turned over the entire Plano City Council, or half the Plano City Council. Sorry, it's late, and I'm not wearing my jacket, so my superpowers are gone. So I am Shelby Williams, formerly with Plano City Council, currently running for Collin County Commissioner Precinct 4 in 2026. And I thank you for watching, and I will keep these coming. Thank you. Bye. Oh, I should tell you, I'm also going to be doing these for Collin County Commissioner's Court well before I'm elected. So stay tuned for that. Thanks.